Hi,
Got
my
it.
friends. Hi, Linda.
Hello. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. And we're so glad everybody's here listening in to Decoding Your Superpowers, where
Mhm.
we get to nerd out
Yeah.
on the discussion around the whole strengths concept. We
hmm
we always reference the Gallup Strengths Assessment
hmm
that anyone can take. Just
Right.
pay the money, pay the money
Right.
to Gallup, and you too can take an assessment. And once you're done, it immediately generates a
Mm.
whole bunch of results. And we love interpreting and
Yeah.
digging into those results. We really found them to be empowering for ourselves, powerful for other people, to really get a new perspective, a new awareness of your innate abilities that just come so naturally to each of us that we really don't think they're anything special. And
hmm
or we think that everybody thinks like we do,
Yeah.
and we don't. So there's lots of layers, lots of nuances. We try to go over the basics every week. We're going to dig into actually the bottom strengths today, which we
Yeah.
don't consider weaknesses, but I don't know. Do you look at them a lot, Linda? Like when you're working with a coaching client, do you
I
reference
I
them?
do address them probably more than once. But a good maybe even half of a session where we talk about them and what they are and how people can um realize or become aware that they're dipping into them. So yeah,
Okay.
I feel like that's very, very powerful to understand who you're not as well as who you are.
Yes. They are powerful to understand, like you said, not in terms of being able to leverage them, but being
Right.
able to let them go and understand that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I might be coming across as weird or
hmm
something's not feeling right or my energy's off. And it could be because you're trying to use those bottom strengths
Right.
in
Right.
whatever situation you're applying them. And so I think
Yeah.
sometimes we're there and we just don't realize it.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
so if we have a little bit of a knowledge of that, of those strengths, then we could pull ourselves out of them and bring
Mhm.
ourselves back up to our top 10, which is our zone of genius.
Right. I had an experience last year. I had organized a baby shower for my son and daughter-in-law, and the day of the shower, I knew people were going to be asking me what they should do. They wanted me to tell them, and I have command at number 34. And so I was able to say to myself, it's okay to dip into that command. They will understand, and you can do that because of this important event that means so much to you and to your family.
Hmm.
And people are only asking because they want to help. And
Hmm.
because I'm not usually the one that's the boss telling people what to do. So it was like having that information, I could allow myself to be that in the moment because it was necessary. I needed to be able to tell
Hmm.
people what to do because
Hmm.
I was the one that arranged.
Yeah, you were in charge.
Yeah, I was in charge. So I think that that's a valid reason for understanding our bottom strengths as well. That
Good.
sometimes we can dip into them and learn to be okay with that, but not
Yeah.
live
Yeah, that was a real good life example.
there.
You were able to use that command strength and
Right.
do what you had to do, and but
Mhm.
then let it go when you were done with it and go back up to what you were really good at. So it's
Right.
not that we can't use them, it's just that we don't want to stay there because it's going to
Right.
suck the energy out of us.
Oh
So if you
my,
tried to be
yes.
in command all the time,
Yeah.
it just would not be
It
good for you.
Yeah, it would be exhausting for me. I
Hmm.
would be very frustrated and stressed, very
Hmm.
anxious.
So yeah, good reasons not to stay down there in those bottom strengths.
Mhm.
So why don't you go ahead and show us what report you have today, Linda?
All right.
Um, and I will just share that the Clifton Strengths Assessment gives you this version with 34 listed out. You
Hmm.
can purchase the top five, but
Right.
we highly recommend you pay the little bit higher price, which
Mm-hmm.
is around 60 bucks at the time of this recording,
Hmm.
to get all of them unlocked because
Yeah.
we could see the patterns. You can see your top 10, which could be slightly different than just focusing on your top five. So we
Absolutely.
prefer the 34. It gives us more of an overall view of you and what your superpowers are. So when
Hmm.
we're talking about the bottom strengths, we're generally talking about what 29 to 34, that last handful of
Right.
strengths.
Hmm.
They're not weaknesses.
Right.
Again, they're just sucking the life out of us. They're just not good for us to be there. We
Hmm.
would prefer everybody stay at the top 10, these right here, which I'm using my cursor. You probably can't
You're
see it,
trying.
but oh, I'm hoping you can use your imagination.
Yeah.
But these top 10 on the left are where we really are our best, or our most energetic, our most productive, our most creative.
Yeah.
We are at our best there. Anything in the middle, um, we don't really pay attention to. They're just kind of neutral.
Hmm.
It's neither here nor there. We can use them. It's just not tipping the scales in any direction. They're just useful if we need them.
Right. Right.
And then those, as you said, the bottom ones are just not where we want to be on a consistent, regular basis.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and I don't see what if the off the top of your head and off the top of my head, this person is a relationship builder, high
Yes. And
relationship builder.
influencing,
Hmm.
relationship building and influencing.
Yes. So this
Very, very
person,
strong relationship building with five
and
at
all
in the
I did
top.
was count up the blue little,
Yeah.
you can see there's a color attached to each one of these top 10. I just added them up, and you can see on the right, the blue is a relationship builder. So when you have three or more of something in a category or in a theme, that just means that is really, really important to this person. This person is
Yeah.
very into connecting with others, having beautiful relationship with us, being with others,
Hmm.
collaborating with others. Yeah, that's very, very important to them. And then as an influencer at with three
Right.
influencing, three's not as strong as that relationship desire, but this
Right.
person still wants to move people forward,
Yes. Inspire people.
inspire people, get them moving in a positive direction. And that energizes them as well, just not as much as creating those relationships and connecting with people.
Hmm.
So I am going to let you pick one of those bottom five, and I want to see if I
Okay.
could find some info while you're doing that.
Okay. So I found a uh little drawing tool there. So just kind of
Oh,
circled around the bottom five. Um,
thank you. Yeah,
so
that's great.
context, significance, focus, deliberative, and discipline. So let's just start at the way bottom. Why not? Just
Yeah,
go to
sure.
the
Why not?
very, very bottom. So discipline, a lot of people think that discipline means that you are self-disciplined, that
Hmm.
if you have this high, or if you have it low, I guess I should say it that way, that if you have it low, that you can't follow through on anything, but that's not the case. Discipline means someone who likes to have routines and follow an orderly way of doing things. And it is what we call an executing strength. So this is all about how someone is productive and gets things done. So for
Mhm.
this person, it is not helpful for them to try and be stuck in a routine in order to get things done. So,
So if I may interject, so
yeah,
this person, if you try to force them into a routine, they're not going to be happy.
no. And we always like you can't I can't ever not look at those top strengths. She has adaptability at 5. So it
Yep.
makes sense that discipline is low for her.
Yeah.
Adaptability is someone who can go with the flow. They're in the moment and they kind of can take whatever life throws at them.
And
So,
figure it out on the way
yeah.
to their end result.
Yeah.
Whereas, not that she probably doesn't have some kind of structure and routine, but
Right.
I'm guessing she either likes to break it or it's very fluid and loose and, loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a nephew like that. Like, to
uh,
me, it seems too loosey goosey. And
yeah.
I just thinking about how he operates his life is just, I am uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
But this person might be the
Yeah.
same way, like, yeah, well, I'll figure it out. So, so not that they
Right.
can't do a routine and a structure, but they just don't have to.
Right. And it doesn't have to come from within them.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Good
it's
point.
not their internal routine and structure.
Right.
Their internal is go with the flow,
Yeah.
but
Good
they
point.
can work within someone else's routine and structure, but it
Hmm.
does not come from within them.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So what else do we have there? We have deliberative there. A
Mhm.
person that's deliberative is just like it sounds. They're very deliberate in what they're doing, in their
Yeah.
plans. They want to make sure all obstacles are taken care of in a very proactive way if they're
Mhm.
planning something.
They deliberate a lot. Like think of
Right,
a
right.
jury deliberates, goes over all the evidence that is there.
And they might come across as being very serious, taking
Yes,
too much time to make decisions or
very
choices.
cautious.
This person doesn't have to take the time.
Yeah.
Because, like we just said, she's probably very fluid and she's comfortable figuring it out on the fly and she knows that it's all going to work out.
Hmm.
Whereas somebody with high deliberative, like, oh my God, no, we got to figure this out before we go on that trip or whatever.
Yeah.
And she would just be, oh, yeah, no, we'll figure out once we
Yeah.
get there. I don't have to know where I'm going to spend the night. I'll just do it, I'll make that decision when I get there. Whereas a
Right.
deliberative person's going to have an agenda, the
Uh-huh.
timing down, probably, and
Right.
all that stuff.
All the things mapped out on the
All the
GPS.
things, anything that could possibly go wrong, a deliberative person will already have that figured out, which
Yes.
I would love to have that person
Right.
in my group. But
Yeah.
this is not the person. The owner of these results,
Right.
this report
My
does
my
not have to
husband
be
is my
that
deliberative person.
person. So then we got focus there. So a
Yeah.
focused person well, this person doesn't have to prioritize, doesn't
Hmm.
have to, I'm just trying to get some words here. They can follow through. Oh, go ahead. I'm just blabbering. I know what
Okay.
I want to say that they don't do, but I want you to go
Right.
say what they do
So
can
someone who has focus high is the kind of person who can put blinders on.
do. Hmm.
They
Yeah.
don't get distracted. They have their task at hand, and that is where they go, not looking to the right or to the left. So this person doesn't do that, and they don't have to do that. Although, there may be times when there that can cause some friction
Yep.
for other people. But for
Yeah.
this person, like they can be adaptable. It goes back to that adaptability. They can be an activator. That's her number 8, where those are kind of more spur of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Activator is ready, fire, and then aim. So, they figure that things are going to work out. They don't have to stay focused so that
And,
things will work out.
and they don't have to move on that path one step at a time
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just and get her done
Yeah,
without being distracted or interfered with. Just keep on going until you reach the end. That would be really energy draining for this
right,
particular person.
right.
They'd
So,
rather, like I said, figure it out on the fly and bring in whatever they need to bring in and trust that it's all going to work out. Again, I've said that multiple times. And I see restorative there at number 9. And
yeah,
that's what's making up for the lack of focus or
right.
lack of deliberative or lack of discipline. She can
Yeah,
take care of all that with her restorative
yeah.
strength.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Fixing
Mhm.
what's broken.
Exactly.
After we're done, I'm going to tell you what she's studying and what she hopes her job to be.
Okay,
And
cool.
then it'll be kind of cool. I'm like, I thought about saying it earlier, but I want to because I want to send this to her, and then I'll just tell you at the end.
Yeah, sometimes we don't want anything to
Yeah,
color our
right,
interpretation,
right.
because a lot of times it's right on point. I mean, the person who this report belongs to, they'll be able to share with us how it plays out for them in
Hmm.
real life. So we're just being very general here. So that will be fun though to find out how close we are to
Hmm.
her reality.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have her give me some feedback.
Yeah, that'd be great. So she has significance sitting
Significance of,
at
yeah,
31 there, and a
yeah,
person of high significance wants to be impactful
yeah.
in
They
the
want to leave a
world.
legacy.
Yeah, in the world at large or in their own little world.
Hmm.
They want to be recognized. They just
Yeah.
like that sense of, again, impacting others in some positive way and
Hmm.
be useful. This person doesn't care about that.
Right. Yeah, I don't care if my name is on a plaque, or,
Hmm.
I mean, that would be nice to be recognized, but that's not why this person does what they do to
Right.
be recognized.
Yeah. I mean, this person might be just fine being part of the group, having her contribution,
Hmm.
part of the success and not have to be singled out for any particular achievement.
Right. Yeah,
So
but she
she
has
was
she has woo high, so people pay attention to her
right, right. Just
because
again,
she's a sparkler. She really is.
so we're referencing her top 10.
Yeah.
We're pulling things out of her top
Hmm.
10 that are substituting or being used in place of these bottom strengths.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, I want to look at context.
Yeah, that's you and I are both like
Yeah, we both have
what about
context low. So
yeah.
sometimes it's hard for us to really comprehend somebody with context high.
Uh-huh.
But as a person with low context, I'm guessing this person doesn't really focus on the past. She doesn't pay attention to the past. She doesn't worry about what happened previous to this moment in time. And it's not going to sway her decisions any way
Right.
whatsoever as to what happened in the past.
Right.
She's
Yeah, yeah, she doesn't need that kind of solid foundation or blueprint in order
Mhm.
to act in the present. She
Right, right.
she's in the present with adaptability and activator. She is just in the present, and she doesn't have to worry about the mistakes of the past
Yeah, it's good, good, good.
or anything like that. Like
Hmm.
the past, not that it's not important to her, but she doesn't need that to not influence but inform
Hmm.
her present.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So all of these strengths, if she was using any of them with any intention, we
Mm-hmm.
would point them out so we could give her that relief of like, oh, thank goodness I
Yes.
don't have to worry about the past. Why am I worrying about the past? Because I don't have to. So
Right.
some people get caught up here at these bottom strengths without really realizing that's why they're stressed or that's why their
Mhm.
energy is not where they want it to be, or they just are really getting weird. And we would both love to go into this analogy from our mentor, Eddie Villa, that we
Yeah.
absolutely have loved. We heard for
Right.
years, and now we get to use it. But
Yes.
he uses the analogy of a nail. You have a nail, and
Mhm.
you need, like, that's your end result that you want. That's what you need to take care of. Let's say a relationship or whatever. And if you use one of your bottom strength, it's like grabbing a ham sandwich and trying to hit that nail with a ham sandwich. And I always think of a sub bun, yeah, a
Oh,
sub
yeah.
sandwich.
You're
So it's
just
really
whacking it.
long. So like you're hitting it with this long sub sandwich. And is that going to work?
I think it'll just be really messy, and the
Yes, it'll
nail
be
will not go anywhere.
right. You're beating away at this hammer, excuse me, this nail, and
Yeah.
things are going everywhere, and that sandwich is just falling apart and messing up you and everybody else involved and doing nothing to that nail.
Right.
I just love that picture in my head because
Uh-huh.
we've all been there and we've all done that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know it.
absolutely.
Whereas if you want the hammer, something that's more solid, that's going to do the trick and do the work for you, that's where you grab something from that zone of
Top.
genius, which is
Yeah.
your top 10, or you
Yeah.
grab a couple of them. But
Yeah, right.
these are the hammers that you
Mm,
would pull out of your tool belt to take care of that nail,
mm,
not these bottom strengths.
right.
I just absolutely, that just makes me giggle every time I hear that
Right.
analogy. It's so fun, so fun. So if you happen to know your strengths and you have your report and
Yeah.
something's really a struggle for you, it would be good to look to see if you're trying to use some of those bottom strengths.
Another thought that I had when we were talking a little bit ago is knowing your bottom strengths also can be very beneficial for you in any relationship. Uh, family, spouse, friendship,
Mhm.
but also work. So, someone who has discipline low, it will give them the language, we talk about this a lot, the words to explain to a supervisor why they don't do well when the supervisor is asking them to do the same thing over and
Mhm.
over and over. And then, some discussion can happen about what can they do within the parameters of whatever the responsibilities and the company requirements are to adapt for this
Mhm.
person, for any person.
Yeah.
Someone with adaptability at 34, they don't want surprises.
Mhm.
They want something that most likely is routine. And if they
Mhm.
throw a monkey wrench in it, they're just like all flustered and thrown and
Right.
distressed.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's really good. So,
yeah.
yeah, so this person it would be really good, and I can't even think of a job description she might be good in, but where there is that flexibility and she has to be creative and bring in her restorative where she can look at something and figure out quickly how to make it better, make it more efficient. Like you said, she can start projects really, really fast.
Right.
She loves to see the positive side of everything. So
Uh-huh.
there is a role for her that her top 10 strengths would really serve her and her job, her team, her
Well, I'll
company,
tell you what her
whatever.
job is.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, she is studying to be a nurse. She just got a job as a certified nurse assistant, CNA.
Mm-hmm.
And the last I heard, this is my niece, the last I heard, she wants to be like an emergency room trauma
Mm.
nurse.
Mm. Yep, this would serve
So,
her well there. all of
Right?
those strengths.
I
But
mean, and she can't be focusing on what happened a couple minutes ago
yeah, yeah.
in the moment, responding,
Hmm.
caring, being positive, but yet, that restorative of uh, being able to see what's broken and fix it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want an emergency room nurse to be able to see what's broken.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure. So
Yeah,
this young lady would not probably do well in like a cubicle office setting, like where you
probably
said it's the same or similar routine all the
not. Right.
time,
Hmm.
and she doesn't have to really think outside the box. I mean, she can maybe be creative within these parameters,
Right.
but
I think she would chafe.
yes, exactly.
She's a people person. She's very, just energetic, and so yeah, she would not do well at a, like a assembly line job or something like that.
Yeah, that's why I love being able to know these
Hmm.
when you're at that point in your life,
Yeah.
whatever age, and you're trying to figure out what direction to go, what type of career to step to, what job to take, what
Yeah.
job position, to know who you are and what your where your strengths lie, that could help you make those decisions. So if
Right.
this young lady was offered like an administrative job
Hmm.
in that hospital setting,
Right.
it might be, oh yeah, good money, a great opportunity, but she, like you said, she's probably going to wither there
Yeah.
and not unless she's able to take her role and use her strengths to, make it her type of a job. Like she
Mhm.
could mold it to her way, but just in the expectations that were probably typically given to like somebody in that administrative job, she would
Right.
probably not be happy, be very stressed, and wonder why what she's doing there.
What did I do wrong to get
And maybe
myself stuck
treat people,
here?
yeah, maybe treat people under her in a very poor way because she herself is not feeling good. So
Right.
that's why I think it's really crucial and so beneficial to know your strength lineup
Hmm.
as you start to look at job choices, job careers, if you're changing a job, crafting a business, whatever. Just
Hmm.
kind of know where you're going to really fit well and be able to use your strengths to their full capacity.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. Good luck to her for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I'm proud
Based
of
on her
her.
lineup of strengths, I think she'll be very successful there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like you said, you want somebody that could rapidly pivot and move from
Right.
one situation to the other and let the other one go so they can keep
Yeah,
moving forward.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Just what's right here in front of me in the here and now, what's broken, let's fix it, and
Mhm.
wooing people along the way.
Mhm.
You know,
Exactly. Making them
having that
feel
bedside
good.
manner. Have you ever had a doctor or nurse who was a grump? Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh, yes.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because you are interacting with the public, and especially in an emergency situation, you want somebody who's compassionate and personable and can
Mhm.
understand, what you're going through and help you get through it. You don't want
Yeah.
somebody very stoic and, like you said, grumpy and, you
Hmm.
know, non-compassionate and I gotta go, I got something over here I gotta do. Yeah,
Right.
I gotta let you. So it's just always I've just had a lot of thoughts around people and their jobs being stressed because their jobs are not aligning with their strengths.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if everybody could fall into that alignment because they know
Right.
their strengths, they'd be so much happier and,
Yeah.
the whole world would be a better place. But
Right. And CliftonStrengths says that it's, they say it's not like a career choice
hmm.
assessment,
Right.
but it's how you do everything. And if a
Hmm.
certain career doesn't fit how you do things, it's definitely something worth considering.
Yes, thank you.
Reconsidering
Definitely.
if you were
Yeah.
headed one direction.
Yes, yes, yes. It's just more tools, more resources to help you make better decisions so
Hmm.
that you can be happier and lead a, fulfilling life. So
Right.
it's just another, great reason to take this strength assessment
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
send it over to us so we can
That's right.
help you really look at it
You
and
too can get
understand it
hundreds of
fully.
dollars worth of free coaching, just
Yeah,
like
for
you did.
sure. So if you have your strengths assessment, your results, you want to get them over to either myself or Linda, please do so. We would love to dig into it on live broadcast.
Yeah,
And if you can come and be with us and
yeah,
give us
absolutely.
real-time feedback, that would
We
even
love
be
that.
better. So we appreciate you listening in. I appreciate you,
Thank you
Linda,
for joining us.
being part of this conversation. You always come with really great insights. And if you know of anybody who might benefit from this recording and hearing this information,
Yeah,
please share it with them. And we
absolutely.
hope you will listen in the next time.
Yeah.
Okay, my friends, thanks so
Bye, everyone.
much.
Take care.
Bye.